I know that in the class, I have two more questions, so I'll get to those. That we're talking about a value frame, and it's a discussion that we've often had in different arenas in our membership and things like that. So why is it important to have a value frame at this point in somebody's business?
Again, that's another fascinating question. And the answer really starts with a reappraisal with the idea of what value actually means. And so how does value, well, what is value in a Western economy such as some of the developed nations have? How is value actually communicated? How is value perceived? I mean, who perceives what is value? And if we don't decode that, if we don't start to pick apart the idea of value and how it's communicated and how it's perceived, then you can't present value. And most people don't even know what value means, so we've got to start there. And so when people, so that's the first thing. And now the idea, in order to be more successful, you have to actually control the way that value is perceived. And so most people are not in control of the way that value is perceived. And that's a socially engineered thing. We are taught and we're trained and we're socialized to introduce ourselves through our quote unquote job. So if I say, hi, how are you? What do you do? So I'm a plumber. Or hi, how are you? I'm a carpenter, or I'm a coach, or I'm a life coach, or I'm a speech therapist, or whatever. Now, that label doesn't control the value that you say that you are able to share with people, because as soon as somebody takes that label, then their perception of that label is dependent on their last experience with somebody with that label. So if they've engaged a plumber and the plumber didn't turn up when they were, promised to turn up, they didn't clean up after them, they overcharged and the tap still leaked, then their perception of the label plumber is not going to be very high.
Yeah.
Whereas their perception of, let's say, somebody who has the ability to, be a hydro engineer for a domestic purpose. I mean, even just saying that you're a hydro engineer for a domestic environment is already increased. Oh, okay, hydro engineer. It's just another name for a plumber, really, when you think about it. But again, so if you can say, well, look, I'm going to control the value by not using those socially engineered labels, which then enable other people to perceive value or determine your value to them. And so those labels mean that you are operating at the commodity space. And the commodity space is everybody wants the best price, not the best value. And again, it gets back into that fungibility. And so you become anonymous,
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
When you learn to communicate the value that you can bring through your own frame, and you control the frame in your marketing, in your branding, in the way that you introduce yourself, in the way that you share what it is that you can do for people through your control of that value, then it enables the other person to be much more familiar with the fact that they are now working with somebody that's actually at the high end.
Beautiful.